the best example is that in the early spring, late winter, early spring, the maple trees begin, all the plants begin to mobilize the stuff that's stored in the root and trunk to get up into the canopy to make the leaves and the flowers. Because there's no solar panels up there, there's no energy. The energy comes from carbohydrate, very much like in us. I mean, we need carbs to run, to do whatever we want. We need some fuel. And that's sugar, that's why you get maple syrup. You're tapping off some of this stored carbohydrate that's coming up from the roots. And you can taste it. It's sweet. All right, so that's what's happening. The tree is making this all summer long and storing it, particularly the trees we're talking about, the fruit trees. They're storing them for the winter. It acts both as an antifreeze, so that the limbs don't freeze and the roots and shoots don't freeze, but also as a store of energy for when the tree is bare and needs to leaf out. All right. So basically, the sunlight activates the process. The water comes from the ground, and the carbon dioxide comes from the air. So each leaf has a whole bunch of little stoma on the undersurface, little mouths, and the carbon dioxide diffuses into that. The chlorophyll comes in contact with the water from the roots and the carbon dioxide, and boom, it makes carbohydrate, glucose, fructose, sorbitol, and then it sends it down to the rest of the trees through its vascular system. Some goes to other branches, some goes to the roots, some goes to the fruit. And the fruit is called an energy sink. It takes a tremendous amount of the plant's production of sugars to ripen the fruit and to make it sweet and to make it large. And basically, if you have a tree that's shaded most of the time, it's got limited resources to cause this chemical reaction to take place. And basically, it may only be making enough carbohydrate to survive and to put enough stuff in its roots for the winter. It's not going to divert it to fruit. So the fruit will be small, won't be very sweet. But basically, when you're thinking like the fruit is smaller than it should be, it's not very sweet, is the tree getting enough light? And that's the other reason we prune it. When I prune with the farm advisors in the Central Valley in February, most of the farmers and the pruning team says, wow, pruning is managing light. That's what they're doing, they're managing light. And what the good orchardists will tell you, any light that falls on the orchard floor is wasted. It's just like spilling gas or something. They want to catch all the light. That's why the trees form these big canopies. They want every bit of light to hit these little solar panels. And many of these leaves are also kinetic. The most biggest example maybe is sunflowers. You can see the sunflower in the morning, the leaves are facing east. Gradually during the day, at the end, if you ever see a whole field of sunflowers, it's amazing. By the end of the day, they're all facing the setting sun. And the leaves on the tree do the same thing, but to a lesser degree and very slowly, so it's not obvious. But look at the trees at different times of day, and you see that the leaves are facing a different direction. So basically, when evaluating the site, light is really critical. If you're planting citrus and stone fruit, deciduous trees, remember that the deciduous trees don't need any light in the winter. They're bare. They can be in total darkness. So if you have an area that's shaded in the winter or shaded in the summer, you want your citrus trees where the sunlight hits them in the winter, because that's when they're blossoming. And that's when they're giving fruit. And if there's a shady part on the north-facing part of a building, you put your deciduous trees there, because they don't need any sunlight during the winter. So that's why it's important, why I spend so much time on these basic, the physiology of the trees and how they work, so that these things will trigger in your mind an idea of where do I place the tree, what I'm doing, and what do I need to do. The other thing is that, okay, that's good.
What does it take on the bottom of the leaf called again, those little nodules?
Stoma.
Stoma,
They're little, what they do is they're shaped almost like a cashew nut. And what happens is when the tree is dry, they close down to avoid losing water from transpiration. When the tree has enough water, they open up. And you can see them, they're microscopic. You can see them with a magnifying glass a little bit, but with a microscope you can see them very clearly, and there's lots of them. That's a real problem with the trees that they haven't worked out, except for the trees that grow in the desert. Because the real conundrum, the real difficulty for the tree is that if it doesn't get enough water, it closes those stoma so it doesn't lose any and lose its turgor and its form. But then it can't get the carbon dioxide. So basically, a lot of people say, "Oh no, we're conserving water," but you know, it won't affect the tree. The tree looks good. I said, "It looks good, but you're not going to get any fruit because the water is really essential to the making of the carbohydrate. You've got to give it adequate water, and adequate water is a very definite amount for each tree. If you cut back on that, you cut back on the fruit, because that's the thing that suffers first, because that doesn't add to the tree's survival. So basically, the problem is why they need the water is that you need to keep these stoma open so that the carbon dioxide can come in. So a dry tree can't make carbohydrate, can't sustain itself. And a tree that's getting adequate water has enough light on the leaves and enough water and carbon dioxide coming in to make a lot of carbohydrate.
Doesn't the transpiration also pull nutrients up through the tree?
Yeah, there's a capillary action that there's a certain water pressure that the tree requires. But the tree, even if there's water there, it'll get it up. I mean, you look at these palm trees and these huge trees, they get water right to the top. All right, so now another thing that's really important and why, and you can't depend on the nurseries. I went to get a tree. Santa Monica had a Earth Day, and they asked me if I'd give a little panel or a little booth. So I thought, I'll get a lousy tree so I can show some problems. So I went to the nursery on Public Boulevard, one-star nursery. Anyway, they had some trees that were left over, and they put them in cans. And I said, can I buy this tree? And they gave me a price.
Come on.
That's very good. Could you put a little discount on it? No, it's a good tree. It just needs some little pruning and stuff like that. So I looked at the label, and I don't think it was the manager. This was a flavor grenade beet. Flavor grenade plua. Requires 800 chill hours, and it requires a Santa Rosa plum to fertilize it, because it's not self-fertile. So it's a sterile tree, and it requires more chill hours than Santa Monica has had since the Ice Age.
Yeah.
Santa Monica has 80 hours of chill a year. This one needs 800. So the tree will live, you know, but somebody says, well, it doesn't produce any fruit. Well, yeah. So we're going to go into that. It's very important. So under choosing trees, the first thing is chill hours. It talks about a little about successive harvests that you guys mentioned and planting strategies.